nowhere near that good. And also, like Christian, I have notes, so don't feel too bad. I want to make sure that I get through everything I would like to tell you guys. Some of you know my story, some of you don't. I've been coming here for about 5 years, maybe a little less than that. So it would certainly not be appropriate for me to get up here and talk about spirituality and Christianity. You folks know much more about that than I do. I'm very new at this, and I'm learning every day. So this is really a message of self-reflection. It's a learn from my many mistakes type of a message. My sin was greed. Real simple. I think a form of greed is somewhat innate. You're somewhat born with it. A baby is greedy for food, for comfort, for attention from its mother. And then as it gets kind of older, becomes a child and it starts to want things. Not so much greed, but you want toys, you want what your brother's got, you want more Christmas presents. You want stuff, right? Then as adults, when we should know better, and we should have been taught better, and be a little bit more mature, we want stuff like cars and jewelry and houses and money. That's when it really becomes greed. When you start to want things for your own selfish reasons, you want things that at the exclusion of others. You don't think about it, I didn't anyway, think about it necessarily that way, but that's really what it is. And that's when I think what is a God-given innate characteristic becomes sinful, and it becomes a sin. You got a car, you want two. You got two, you want three. You got a house, you want a bigger house. You got a bigger house, you want the biggest house. And so on. It kind of becomes, it's endless. It's craving for the sake of craving. Need. It's not need-based. And it's not with any consideration or regard for others. So I stand here today and apologetically tell you I was that guy, I felt like I had to accumulate stuff, right? At one point I had a big house, I had a Porsche 911, I had a Rolex, I had a closet full of Armani suits, I had all kinds of nice shoes, and all I could think about is how am I going to get more of that stuff, right? So my sin, according to our Bible, my sin was the same as all other sins. It's no better or no worse, it's a sin. And so, but what I found out was when you need a message from God, He's got a pretty direct way of getting that message to you. And he gets right to the point. And with me, he got right to the point. So all those things I thought were important, all that stuff that I worked so hard to get, was slowly and painfully taken from me. And I watched it go, and it hurt. It hurt along the way. Not that long ago, some of you have heard this, I apologize, but not that long ago I was the principal in what was, I think, not that I'm proud of it, the largest bankruptcy in the history of Osceola County. So a business that I was involved in went through a very painful bankruptcy. House was in foreclosure, the Porsche was gone. That one hurt. I got to admit, that one really hurt. Still trying to figure out how to get it back without being greedy. And my savings were gone. I was down to a couple $100s. I got 9 years of college. I've been blessed every step of the way. I've had advantages that most people don't have across the board. And here I am, $200, wondering what's going to happen to me. During this turmoil, which I believed was an absolutely spectacular failure in my life, I found God.
Amen.
And I found God through what I consider to be the uncommon compassion of absolute strangers, individual messengers. It started with Pastor Lydia. Then it became Michael. Then it was Tavi and Furman. Now it's Carlos and Brad and Ben and Christian and Eduardo.